Welcome to 24-Day Challenge Intermediate A program. I'm going to jump right into the objectives here. My guess is that you are doing this exercise program to complement your 24-day challenge and maximize your results there. Also, to do so, we're looking to burn fat, build lean muscle. Now, understand to do that, you got to get uncomfortable in the gym. You got to work hard. It sounds obvious, but it's a whole other thing to actually execute it. The saying goes that if you want to get the best results in the gym, do the opposite of what everybody else is doing. So we're not going to be on ellipticals, we're not going to be on machines, we're not going to be doing bicep curls and tricep kickbacks and leg extensions. We're going to be using free weights, we're going to be using multi-joint movements. We're going to work with tempo in there. And hitting all those objectives are going to really help us get the results we're looking for. So for those objectives, we have to utilize an anaerobic approach to training in the gym. Now, that means we're going to get your heart rate up and down, up and down. We're not going to just keep it steady state throughout the exercise program. Now, the method of training we're going to use is resistance training. It is probably the most effective form of anaerobic training because not only are you getting your heart rate up and down, assuming you're doing the right exercises, which you will be, but you're also recruiting muscle in the process. The more muscle we can recruit, the more fat we're going to burn efficiently, not only during the workout time, but in the time afterwards for the next 24 to 48 hours. That's the goal right here. Now, as you look at your spreadsheet here, let me talk about some of the specifics of the program. You're going to be working out 3 days a week for 4 weeks. So in doing so, you see the listing of week 1 3 times, week 2 3 times, week 3 3 times, and week 4 3 times. Just for generalities, let's say it's on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday setup. So you want to take a day of rest in between each resistance training day. It doesn't mean that you can't use those days in between to do some form of cardio. I'm just saying don't do this program on back-to-back days. So again, let's just say it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday on this program. Maybe you're doing some cardio on Tuesday, Thursday, and that's fine. Next, you see the changing rep scheme across your spreadsheet there. You see times 10, times 12, times 8. Now you're going to use the same rep scheme for back-to-back sessions. So for week 1, you can see the first 2 times you go work out, it says times 10. So you'll use 10 reps on Monday and say day 2 is Wednesday. You're looking to select a weight that is appropriate for about 10 reps, which means by rep 8, 9, or 10, you're starting to get fatigued. Day 3 of week 1, say it's Friday, you would move to 12 reps. And probably what you're doing is you're dropping your weight a little bit to account for the increase in reps. That will carry over to the first session of week 2. And then by the second session of week 2, you can see times 8. That means that you'd be adjusting your reps down to 8. And in doing so, you're probably increasing your resistance for that day and the third day of week 2. Now you see that starts all over again in week 3. You see times 10. You do that the first 2 sessions, then transition to times 12 for the third session of week 3. That carries over to the first session of week 4, and you finish out the program on 2 days of 8 reps. So what we're doing here, even though you'll be performing the same exercises for 4 weeks, 12 sessions, we're going to continue to stimulate the body by changing up the rep counts and the loads so it keeps the body guessing and adapting and improving. Next, as you look at your program, we show you how there's a balance within your program in terms of how we're challenging the body. You see 2 blocks of 4 exercises: the alternating chest press, the split squat, the single arm row, and the single leg deadlift is what I would say is your first block of exercises. There's 4 there. Your second block of exercises is the shoulder press, reverse lunge, reverse fly, and anti-rotation chop. That's your second block. Now, within each block, there's a balance of movement. So the first block right there, alternating chest press, that's an upper body push pattern. Split squat, that's a lower body, what we call a knee dominant pushing pattern where you're training more the front side of the leg. The single arm row is an upper body pull pattern. The single leg deadlift is a lower body hip dominant pulling pattern, which is going to train more the back side. The same applies for the second block. You've got an upper body push pattern, a lower body pull, an upper body kind of backside movement, and then actually the anti-rotation chop is a more core specific movement. So the main takeaway is that we're balancing out the program. You got upper body, lower body, pushing, pulling. So we're targeting the big muscle groups, and we're doing so in a very balanced way. So be conscious of that as you go through it. Now, as you take 1 block at a time, the first block of 4 exercises, the key is to execute those 4 exercises in succession with very little rest in between. So I'd go chest press, split squat, row, deadlift, back to back to back to back. Now, if I was just doing 1 set of each, it would be just that. Then I'd rest and move on to my second block of 4 exercises. If I was adding volume, which we'd like to add volume from session to session, maybe session 2, I know I want to add a second set to say the split squat. I'd go chest press, split squat, row, deadlift, and I'd come back for that second set of split squat. Maybe by the third session, I'm going to add a couple extra sets. This time I'm going to add sets with the row and the deadlift. So I'd go through the 4 in a row, and I'd come back and add a second set to the single arm row and the deadlift. See, that's how you add volume. Hopefully by the end of week 2, maybe into week 3, you're doing 2 sets of everything. You're up to, what is that, 16 sets of work. That would be a good workout. So that's how you add volume. And then you would kind of break and calm down before you moved on to the second block of 4 exercises. Very generally here, you see warm up and cool down. I won't be too specific here. Just I'd say for the warm up, do something fairly aggressive and quick that gets your core temperature up, your heart rate up, jumping rope, running in place, body weight squats, just something to get your body prepped for the activity that's going to follow. Cool down, simply maybe hop on a treadmill, walk it out for 2 to 3 minutes, let your body calm down, kind of flush the system a little bit before you leave. Specifically about the exercises, you will see video on each of these, but let me give you some coaching points for each one. First of all, the high alternating chest press. Obviously, one dumbbell you see in the video stays high the whole time. That's going to force a little more shoulder stability, core stability as you perform the movement. You are alternating there for a set of 10, like on day 1. That would be 10 on each arm, pressing each arm 10 times. That would be 1 set of 10 for that. Control the movement coming down, be aggressive going up. The single arm split squat, you're offsetting there, and in doing so, you're going to force your core to stabilize your movement. If you relax, obviously that dumbbell would pull you over to the side. We want to train the core to stabilize the body. We don't want to train for movement in the core. We want to train to prevent movement there. So that's the value of that offset, just holding in the single arm there. So if my left leg was forward, I'd be holding the dumbbell in my right hand. Split squat pattern, I want to really make sure that I'm working through my hip on that front side leg, that by the time I get to the bottom of my movement, I'm aiming for 90 degrees at both knees. My toes are up on the front side of the front foot to emphasize weight on the back of the foot to push through the heel, get the hips tall, and really get more glute recruitment at the end there. One set there would be 10 reps with your left leg forward, 10 reps with your right leg forward would be 1 set of 10. Tall kneeling single arm row with a cable. Now what we're doing there in a tall kneeling position with the hips tall, keep the hips extended, you got to fire the glutes there, get the glutes turned on. The core is going to be turned on there to stabilize posture. With the row, you're thinking pull through the elbow, squeeze the back, keep the shoulders back and down as you perform that movement there. You perform 10 reps in the right arm, 10 reps in the left arm for 1 set of 10 there. The single leg deadlift with a medicine ball or a plate. That one right there, what you do is perform 10 reps on the left, 10 reps on the right as you watch the video for 1 set of 10. You're really trying to reach and get long there from your fingertips to your heel on the backside there. And that is a pulling movement. So you want to pull back to the top. You're only using about 10-degree flexion at the knee. Meanwhile, most of the flexion is taking place in the hip. You're working for a flat back there. And again, that's great at training the backside for that movement. The single arm split stance shoulder press there. A set of 10 would mean doing, left leg forward, pressing right 10 times, right leg forward, pressing left 10 times vertically for 1 set of 10. You're working to really stabilize there by tightening your midsection there, holding your posture as you perform that press and staying on balance. It's a movement that you'll get a little bit of work out of the lower body just for stability while you're pressing up top. The goblet reverse lunge, that's one where you perform 10 reps with the right leg going back, 10 reps with the left leg going back for 1 set of 10. The goblet hold is going to force you to work a little bit harder on your interior core abs to stabilize that position. The reverse lunge is different than the linear forward lunge in that the reverse lunge, you pull back to the top. So you got to work hard to think pull back to the top to get the backside muscles recruited there. The bent over reverse fly, you want to take a flat back position. And you're thinking your hands are outside your elbows, but you're really thinking raise at the elbows to emphasize the upper back and the posterior shoulder there to get work done there. That's an easy 10 reps because the dumbbells are working at the same time. The cable anti-rotation chop, what you're doing there is you watch the video, you're pulling the hands across the body there while stabilizing the spine. We don't want any movement in the trunk. We want to prevent movement in the trunk. You perform 10 reps going right to left, 10 reps going left to right to conclude that set of the cable anti-rotation chop.